welcome to Friday. What is today? April 20th. LTR Digital Group. It's going live. We've got a few different topics today. Thanks for joining the page. And Dale decided to join me. So
we've gone to Hollywood.
I know a couple of things was used to be able to sit here in the dark, and now I feel like it's that first high def TV you get, and you look at the you watch the news, and it's looks like they're caked with makeup, and it's because we got new lighting and everything. So
yeah, it's like a Barbara Walters interview.
Yeah. And we got a new speaker too. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. So
and we want I know for us and from an agency's perspective, there's nothing more frustrating than video that's hard to see and audio that's hard to hear when it comes to video. So we just got some equipment to hopefully make our videos a little bit better.
So hopefully you enjoy it. So let's get into it and start real quick with a question that came in last week from Becky, and the question was around what our thoughts were on MeWe, which is a new, quote unquote, new social channel for, call it Facebook, call it a private Facebook. Okay, so in essence, what it is it just think Facebook, but think no ads, complete control, complete privacy. The user gets to decide who sees what, when, and where, and it's pretty much a closed social channel to a great extent.
Kind of like the way Facebook started.
I would say very much like the way Facebook started. So the question is, kind of what do we think? Well, I think from a business perspective, right? So first thing that pops into mind is, based on what we know of it, we're not members of it, or I'm not. I don't know about you.
Nope.
I can't tell you I'm the user experience or anything from that perspective. But from the timing of it, with everything that's going on with Facebook, the timing might be right. Hard to say. Their ability to make it right is whether or not how they're going to acquire users. How are they going to get people on there? And my guess is it's probably going to be through organic social acquisition of people, just like Becky, who asked what we thought of it. So that's one. That's the other thing. And then finally, for me, I didn't see any. I don't know what the business model is with that social channel, because it's free for everybody, right? So at some point, you got to monetize things to keep the network going and to keep the infrastructure in place. Unless these are a bunch of rich social people that just want to get back.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's an interesting model, because even if you go back to the early days of Facebook and Zuckerberg, they said monetization, that was after, right? They said, we don't know. So I don't know anything about whether or not they went through, some fundraising or funded or what have you. But yeah, it's kind of that maybe they're following in the same footsteps, because obviously there's got to be some sort of. It could be there was talk this week about what would a paid version of Facebook look like, and would people be willing to pay $11 a month for an ad-free Facebook or something like that? Maybe they're going to go with that as their revenue model. Who knows?
Yeah, in one of their messages on there, it shows a knuckle, and it says "not for sale." So we weren't quite sure if that meant you don't have to pay to get in there; it's not for sale, or you and your data and everything you do on the internet is not for sale, which is in essence what happens on some of the other social channels.
Yeah.
So Becky, great, thanks for the question. It exposes to a new social channel that honestly we were not aware of, but it'll be interesting to see how channels like that might be able to take advantage of the marketplace, considering what's going on with Facebook. And last week we talked about GDPR, right? So not to get into that again, but as that happens in May 25th over in Europe, and that's the privacy guidelines, how that plays back over in this side of the ocean, and what impact that has on social channels like Facebook. So let it kind of play out, but we'll keep an eye on it and see what happens. So.
There's some interesting announcements this week. Actually, I did not know. Technically, Facebook is based in Ireland because of the tax.
I didn't know that.
Because of the taxes. So the question is, okay, the corporation are they under GDPR because they're part of the EU or what? And blah blah blah. And there's just a lot of confusion right now. So yeah.
So all right. So let's get into a couple of topics. So we're going to be kind of Google strong this week.
I think so. Yeah.
So the first one Dale, is the new AdWords video type that's available. Can you kind of A, describe what it is, and B, you know, actually B would be how clients or customer or just people in general utilize that ad type.
Yeah.
And B, you know, what's the potential impact and ideas where to use it.
Yeah, so this was an announcement that came out from the Google Inside AdWords, which is their official AdWords blog, Inside AdWords. This one was actually, this just came out Tuesday. And there was no pre-announcement of this saying, hey, here's some new ad. Maybe there was, maybe I just missed it. But so this is a new video ad type. So when we think of video ads in Google or AdWords, we think of YouTube advertising. And those could be the TrueView ad units where our ad shows before the main video plays, or maybe it shows up in the suggested videos on the side or something like that. But that all happens within typically the YouTube app or on the YouTube on the desktop or something like that. And it stays within that ecosystem. So this one is called, at this point, they're calling it the Outstream Video Ad. So we talk about TrueView ad units in YouTube. So this one's called Outstream Video Ads. I have not seen it yet in the wild myself, but it sounds like they're going to, but I imagine you're going to do it in your AdWords dashboard. And I wouldn't be surprised if you'll create the ads where you create the YouTube. I haven't seen it show up in AdWords yet myself. But it'll be an ad unit that actually shows up as a video on Google Partner Network websites. So if you're on a website that is part of the Google Partner Network, where maybe they show display ads or they show things already, like this morning we had a client send us some from the local newspaper and a few other websites where they are part of the Google Display Network. Well, this is where that video ad could show up too. Now you can already do video ads in Google Display, but this is looks more from the image. It looks like it's kind of and this is mobile primarily, or I believe mobile only, but shows up as native content on that website. So the image that they just had here was, I don't know if this is officially from Google. So I'm going to go with the belief that that's what they believe it'll look like. Display. Yeah. And you know, and it's probably going to be, again, at a typical ad length. So think of that, you know, no more than 30-second kind of typical video ad size. Yeah.
Okay. So the use of it for people that play in the space probably a whole lot different than TrueView ads, right? So whatever you might create for that type of environment would work with this type of ad unit. It would just be it would just be served up in a different format or a different way, I guess.
Outside of YouTube or outside of the YouTube app. And really, you know, if you use Google's own words, and as many people know, for many years we operated as Google partners and what have you. So we certainly know that the message that they promote to them, video has always been important because it allows advertisers to leverage sight, sound, and motion. So now you can just use that same advantage of sight, sound, and motion, but show up on a website, and that's part of the Google Display Network. So I don't know what the metrics are going to be yet. It looks like this was strictly going to be a CPM play. So it's not as cost per view or CPV or cost per click. It looks like it's primarily going to be CPMs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if it's anything like TrueView ads that we use for clients, those are extremely cost effective. So
very,
you know,
my
guess is the cost is going to be low to start because it's a new ad unit and not everybody's aware of it. So there's your chance to get some low cost advertising.
Yeah, they're promoting it as Outstream Video Ads delivered. And this is based on testing. Outstream Video Ads delivered strong results from our global brand campaigns, 30% incremental reach and 40% lower cost per completed video view, and overall an 85% lower CPM. So,
okay. So there you have it. If you have questions on that, reach out to us. Second topic of the day. Where you got anything else?
Nope.
I guess third topic of the day. Second Google topic is, and we've talked about this a fair amount, either on prior live streams and or blogs. I know we have had that discussions with clients, but it comes back to Google's change from a mobile-first search engine. So there's been, it's not new news, you know, from the standpoint that Google has strongly been encouraging site owners to ensure that their site is mobile friendly, mobile responsive. Make that user experience on mobile the best that it can be, because the greater amount of searches within Google have happened on mobile over desktop. So several months ago they announced several the right kind of.
Yeah, we know for sure what's been within this year.
Okay.
I mean, it's April now, so.
No, but when they announced that it was going to be.
But it was probably last fall or last.
So we'll call it several months.
It just seemed like a very long winter here, so it's.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
It's breaking. Finally, golf courses opening soon.
Yeah, we're seeing grass.
So several months ago, Google has talked that their algorithm is going to be a mobile-first algorithm, and then desktop being secondary. So I want you to talk a little bit about that, give them a layman's explanation as to what that means, and then also it kind of sounds like the first indexing from that algorithm are starting to take hold. So kind of talk a little bit about the implications and kind of what people should do within their Google Analytics to see if to see what the impact that it may have. So,
you know, that's kind of the tricky thing. So this just came out the 17th. This was the announcement of Google's mobile first indexing has set sail, is what they call it. And essentially it was, okay, we've been talking about the fact that, as Pat had mentioned, that Google's going mobile first as the primary algorithm or driver of the algorithm. They're going to view the world through a mobile perspective, and that's what the algorithm is going to be based on. So now, this is the first official announcement of the indexing, the first indexing using this new algorithm has now taken place. However, I would say that who knows if there's been preliminary runs of the algorithm and some effects already. The reason we're mentioning this is because we know business owners like to visit their own website or do searches for themselves and say, here I am or there I'm not. And so the bigger message is, if you should suddenly see a change in your organic positioning, this could be the reason, right? If you have not heeded the warnings.
Well, let me just interject something. I reread this and I just remembered that not everybody has Search Console set up within their Google Analytics.
Probably very few.
Very few. So if you don't have that, do that. Because what I'm seeing here is that Google will send a notification via your Search Console when your site has been switched over to the mobile first index.
Very good.
Okay, so one, go within your Google Analytics. Hopefully you have that in place. Two, look for Search Console. You'll see it on the left menu system on the left-hand side, and when you click into it, you'll be able to tell right away whether or not you have it set up. Get it set up. It's not complicated. And once you have that set up, that's where that notification of mobile first will come.
Yep.
The other cool thing about Search Index or Search Console, while we're talking about it, is you'll learn a lot of the search terms that searchers are using that end up on your site. There's nice little data pieces in there. That's for a different story. So,
well, but if nothing else, I mean, this should be at least a reason to talk to either whomever manages your website or whoever does this for you, to talk to them about this stuff. And maybe it's going to be beyond your skill set to set up Search Console, but you should be talking to, you know, your agency, or, you know, if it was your best friend's nephew that built your website, or whomever, whoever's doing it. Take advantage. It's a free tool. Why you would not want to do it, I don't know. But and what you said, you made a good point, something about
all my points are good.
Yeah. Now, what did you say? Oh, how you can view that in analytics, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you just mentioned Search Console. So you can, in Google Analytics, also look at the source of your traffic more under your, it's going to be more about your general audience, and you'll, you know, we tend not to do screen shares on this, so I can't show you directly where it's at. but you can look and see what percentage of your website traffic is mobile. You can even look at it by device type in Google Analytics. And what I like to do anytime I look at this, or anytime we sit down with a business to talk about this, is do like a year-over-year comparison to see how that's maybe changed over time, because it certainly can give you an understanding of, well, because analytics, everything, the data is static, right? It's a picture of whatever time. You kind of want to look at the trends, so you can do those year-over-year, month-over-month, or something like that. But certainly a lot of things to think about when you think of mobile. We've shared some tools with you in the past as far as what you can use to see whether or not Google considers you mobile friendly or not, or we've shared a number of those tools. But what I will say too is, any questions about this, feel free to reach out to us and on Facebook or something like that. Maybe we can, or if you have a specific question, let us know, and maybe we can address that specific question like we did for Becky's next time.
Okay. Anything else on that?
No. We just want to make people aware, and I think, like I just said, it was just about the fact that we had talked about this before, and now it's kicked in. So if you see your website organic ranking bouncing around a little bit, could be a reason.
Okay. So that's it for this week, right?
How are we doing on time?
We're doing okay.
We're doing okay.
We could wrap it up.
So
let's talk about
what we're going to next week. Yeah.
Next week, one of the main topics we want to talk about, and I'm sure some other things will creep into the conversation, but next week we want to talk a little bit about a study that you have consumed, and it's got to do with 2017 AdWords benchmarks, where they actually took a certain size ad budget and analyzed it in a wide and sliced and diced it and looked at different things.
Yeah, so this is the annual click-through rate, conversion rate, kind of what are the averages seen across AdWords, and they look at across verticals, across industries, across ad budgets. They do it once a year. And when I say they, Search Engine Journal, great resource. They put this data together and kind of filter through it. So yeah, this is just based on what we've seen. What can we expect for 2018? So to answer the question, if you're doing AdWords, it's a reasonable question. What's a good click-through rate? Yeah. What's a good conversion rate? What should I expect?
And these are all benchmarks that we utilize in our conversations.
Yeah. Yep.
It's kind of use it for, as you do your daily management of these campaigns, if things aren't looking at least to par with the benchmark or on the average of what it should be, then let's start digging into it a little bit, to try to at least get it up to the average, kind of thing.
Yeah. So next week, because it was a relatively in-depth study, not volumes, but it's a bigger study than normal article, we'll maybe spend next time talking about like top, e-commerce and, what are some averages. So be sure to join us for that one.
Okay, so let's all congratulate Dale on his certification for being a blockchain expert. Blockchain is a new buzzword for many of us, but all it means is Dale took a test and he knows some things about blockchain. So we're actually positioned very well from an agency standpoint to be, we don't like to use the word expert because that's kind of it's just a bad term, We'll just say we're very well educated when it comes to blockchain and the impact blockchain can have in the ad tech world and even peripherally outside of that. But since we're in the digital space,
mm-hmm.
we're gonna say that's where most of our experience comes from. But understanding its utilization in other channels is there as well.
Absolutely.
Fair to say?
Yeah, I think we're in store. I think 2018 and going forward, it'll be a very interesting time. The reason, you and I have been advocates of the cryptocurrency world and what have you, going back a number of years. So it's nothing that we just said, hey, let's just do this. We just heard about it's a buzzword, so we decided to chase it. Yeah. We've been following this for a number of years, but now
it's become a little more mainstream.
Well, and it's also the reason I said, okay, let me buckle down and see if I can get the certifications, because it was just recently becoming apparent to me that there are projects and there are developments that do affect digital advertising, digital marketing, digital content. So now I'm seeing a potential. How does it impact our professional world? Not just casual investor or trader or something like that. It's a.
We'll try not to get blockchain heavy on this channel. We're gonna probably create a separate channel or separate content library around blockchain technology, blockchain this, blockchain that. But it's going to be, in essence, it's going to be a resource. So
a resource focused on introducing people to the projects that are up and coming in this developing space. Yeah.
So you can stay attuned with what's going on.
Well, it's just like we did with Becky's question with that social platform. There's social networks popping up within the decentralized blockchain.
So, okay. Happy Friday, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
Hope you enjoyed our lighting.
Yeah.
Our ambiance.
So I actually put makeup on to make this face look better. Did it work?
You vote.
Okay. Bye-bye. Peace out.